Hello and welcome to another episode of Tavern Watch Plays. This week we are playing Daggerheart, a newly released game from the team behind Critical Role, and we're playing it in a unique setting found in the book called Motherboard. So, I'm going to set the scene and then I'm going to ask our players to introduce themselves. The world of Motherboard is set in the Echo Vale, where towering spires built by an ancient civilization fill the land. Connected between them are great networks of wires and cabling that carry data and power throughout the Vale. And the people here don't entirely understand how any of this works, but they've made their best use of it anyway, using it and adapting technology, scavenging scrap, and building a new civilization atop the old. Our party is making their way to the Motherboard herself, one of the largest cities in the Vale, which is built around the highest spire that goes thousands of feet into the air, called, of course, the Motherboard. No one is allowed to enter the Motherboard, but many worship her as a god. And this is home to a priesthood, and many pilgrims traders come to trade with the pilgrims. It's usually a busy place. As you've been approaching through the wastes, you could see the Motherboard rising up to the clouds for several days now. And now I'm going to go to our party and tell you to introduce yourselves. Let's start with Joan. Who are you playing and what's going on?
So I am playing Lithyen of Redcanyon. She is a Nightwalker rogue. She's a faun who was born out in the outskirts of Echo Vale, sort of up in the ridges and the canyons there.
All right, now let's go to Matt.
I am playing Ishvit. Ishvit is a underborn juggernaut fighter. The fighter is a playtest class, so this should be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ishvit is like I'm not going to use human ages, but close to adult, but not quite adult yet. She's only 8 feet tall. She's not at the full 8.5 feet some can get, but she's still growing. Basically has a lot of marks and tattoos on her body symbolizing things she's experienced and been through. She spent the last 16 years of her life underground in a very big old complex, lots of mining tunnels, lots of strange pillars that seem to do various things. One of those pillars had big glass tubes with a bunch of dead people in them, but one of the tubes was still working and Ishvit was in it. She was raised by 7 dwarves.
Yep, that's the thing we're doing. Okay, yep. Thank you, Matt. Let's go to Nick. Nick, who is also bringing a really unique character to the game.
Hi, I'm Nick. I'm going to be playing Tavern, a human order-born seraph, and in the Motherboard setting of Daggerheart, technology has a really large place, and that's how it's one of the main interactions with the world, and that it replaces magic. And since Seraph is in Daggerheart one of the spell casting classes, it's like a hybrid tank healer depending on how you spec it. Taven is part of the closest thing is a monastic group from the Echo Vale called the Nameless Circuit, and their mission is to serve the people of the Vale in the name of the Motherboard. And in order to accomplish this mission, seraphs that are part of the Nameless Circuit undergo a transformation where they give up their regular hands and have them replaced with mechanical hands in order to do their work. And after undergoing this trial, part 2 of the trial was for Taven to create his set of mechanical wings, because Seraph is a class in Daggerheart that can fly. And with the help of his brothers and sisters of the Nameless Circuit, they, for the lack of a better word, installed the wings onto his body before he set out on his mission to serve the Vale.
It's going to be a weird one, people. And Phil, wrapping up our party here.
Yep, it gets weirder. So I'm playing Laplace Cadmus. His heritage is he's a Wanderborn elf. Wanderborn indicates that he didn't really grow up in a fixed place. Specifically, he has spent most of his life with the Pilgrims of the Spire, a wandering group that one of the ones that literally worships the data wells and spires of Motherboard as deities of a sort. And I am also, like Matt, playtesting one of the new classes for Daggerheart, which I am playtesting in this magic-free setting, the Warlock, which... if you've played D&D 5e, you'll be familiar with the concept. It's a spellcaster of sort who is pledged to a mysterious patron for supernatural powers, except of course the supernaturality is in question, and the powers are technology-based, not magic, but sufficiently advanced technology, something magic. So.
It's true. So, the lot of you have been summoned to the Motherboard in a letter specifically addressed to Tavern, and it was a paper letter that was delivered to you by messenger with a wax seal coming from the prophet of the Motherboard, kind of the head of the church here. And she has called you to the Motherboard for a meeting, which she didn't say any more about it. It's definitely unusual to be summoned in this way. So, you were approaching the city. What are y'all up to?
Well, since, I guess, as Tavern approaches the city, he's rereading the letter in a sort of anxious fashion, mainly because this is something that's unheard of for him, at least, and for his people. No one has been summoned like this. So now he wonders, he's contemplating what this could be about, and it's occupying all of his brain space. He's basically on autopilot, going over in his head what this could be about as they walk towards the central spire.
Now, as you're... go on, Joan.
Lithyen has never been this close in before. So she's basically doing the tourist thing where she just stares at everything and goes, "What is that?"
So, as you were approaching the city, it is definitely... Who here thinks they've been to the Motherboard before, has been to this
Not
city?
it.
I think it's got to come down to Tavern or Laplace, right? And I think Laplace has definitely been close.
Taven's been close.
Okay.
Never this close.
So, as you're approaching, you see it's busier than you remember. There are crowds of pilgrims, maybe merchants outside waiting to be let in. And you notice there are some new towers that have been erected, kind of bordering around the city, with a couple of seraphs on top of each of them, keeping an eye on things. You are all aware of the Remnant's Fury, an event that happened a couple of years ago, when all of the robotic and mechanical creations throughout the Vale went crazy. Usually they were peaceful, and they turned violent all at once. The entire network was out for several days while this happened. And the technomancers of the Vale did manage to apply some fixes, to apply patches that calmed the situation, but it didn't quite bring things back to normal. The Vale is still a much more violent place, and there has been some outcry against technology and against the Motherboard herself, who did not protect the people of the Vale from this. So it looks like there might be a little tension within the city.
As we get closer, I want to take notice of the seraphs standing on top of these new towers. Specifically, I want to look at what they're outfitted in and what their demeanor is.
All of them are carrying, they all have an iconus, which in this world is kind of a ceremonial weapon that you're given. And they are long staves, and you would know that these are usually a kind of energy weapon that can shoot at range. They can be used for melee defense if needed, or to shoot things at range. They are calm but watchful. And they are wearing armor, but they aren't like super equipped out for war, if that makes sense. They're keeping an eye on things. And there is one fairly large encampment with red tents that you notice as you approach. You think there's some special watch being paid to it.
From here, can we see like who or what's inside the encampment?
It's a collection of tents, and there are some people out there. They are all wearing armor, and they seem organized. As you all approach, you do see that they're being watchful as well. They're keeping an eye on everyone who passes by. As you continue through the crowds, and it is kind of crowded here, you notice one of them break off and approach your group. It is a Qatari, tall with broad shoulders. He does not seem aggressive as he comes up to you, but he comes up alongside you and walks as you continue to walk, unless anyone is stopping or doing anything.
I'm just gonna stop, give like put my hand over my chest, slight bow, respectfully, a hello.
He returns the gesture. I had been hoping to speak with you. There has been some gossip around the town that the prophet has summoned someone to aid in this trying time. And it would seem to be you. And this group? Yes.
Well,
I know I start saying things to people without telling them who I am first. That's what I always do. People tell me it's rude, though. I don't know. I guess it's not. It's good to know.
My name is Kith, and I lead the Freemen of the Vale.
I'm Ishvit. I don't.
Well met, Ishvit.
Tavern says to Kith, it's an honor to be summoned. Speaking on behalf of myself and our group, I can say that we're all curious as to why us specifically. Do you have any insight as to what this trying time is?
Well, they do not like us to wander close to the mother, but the people here and the many pilgrims he gestures, and there's quite a crowd out here, have come because the Motherboard has started to speak. So they say. Some of this is nonsense, I believe, but we think, our group at least thinks, that we should be less reliant on technology. We should not take messages from ancient creations. But yes, more and more people have been saying they hear her voice when they have been allowed to make a pilgrimage into her presence. There have been many people who have gone out to carry out whatever will she has imposed on them. And we have been keeping watch against trouble.
Taven's just going to give a quick side glance to Laplace. They both have been here before, or a situation like this.
Yeah, and I'm just looking from these dudes in the red tent to the seraphs on the towers to the people in the red tents going, there seem to be a lot of people on guard against a lot of people right now. Is there something
there's no
we should know?
Open hostility, but I would say that our interests differ. They, of course, are amongst the priesthood, the seraphs, and serve the Motherboard in her grace. And we do not wish the Motherboard to continue to rule over these lands. In fact, I was hoping to talk to you about an arrangement perhaps we might make if you are to be summoned into the prophetess's presence.
Taven raises an eyebrow. Go on.
At this point, he will, if you would follow him, lead you into their encampment, into or maybe just a quiet area outside the crowds. Somewhere definitely out of line of the seraphs.
Yeah, except for the one that you're talking to.
Yeah, except for
She gestures like Ishvit is like going. She's not actually even saying anything. She's just looking at his wings, looking back at the guy, looking at the wings, looking back at the guy. But you know.
So I will say that at least for Taven, his wings are slightly covered by a cloak but they're visible. So if Kith has looked hard enough, they'll notice.
Yeah. You do have an impression that he has maybe some knowledge of who you all are.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering about that since he picked us out of a crowd.
You do stand out a little bit. I mean, the pilgrims they're a varied bunch, but most of them aren't armed. There are some similarities between them. You have walked in with some amount of purpose. I believe the prophetess may be bringing you into the Motherboard's presence in some way. And it is my wish to bring the Motherboard down, to disconnect the network. And I think you are an unconventional lot. You are not necessarily friends to this technological voice that everyone claims to hear. He gives a specific look at Lithyen in this.
She frowns.
Oh, I heard someone go. Nope. Okay.
Go on.
Taven. So Taven's Iconis doubles as it's a simple metal staff. It's got some wires wrapped around it, some chips, very bare bones compared to some of the other Iconis in the world. It also doubles as like a walking stick for him, so he tends to lean on it casually as he's talking to folks. But for this time, he's standing up straight, and his hand is, for any who are paying attention, his grip tightens around the staff, and in a not disrespectful, but sort of a shrewd tone, asks, "Bring down the motherboard." That affects everybody. You're gonna force that on the entire Vale? For what?
You've seen what harm she has done. We, the people of the Vale, need to stand on our own without everyone interpreting the potential will of the Motherboard to do what they wish, or to prey on others, or cults of technology coming to do what they will. I ask you only to consider this is a thought, that the Motherboard does as much or more harm than good in this valley.
Taven's going to look around at the rest of the group. Oh, go ahead.
He is armed. He has a sword at his hip, but he has made no move to his weapon of any sort.
All right. Is Taven actually looking at us?
Yeah, I'm...
Okay. I got a big old smile on my face. Like, just huge. Just this enormous grin. And I'm like, I'm not making any hostile gestures at all. I'm not touching for the staff. I'm not making a fist. I'm just like, this is going to be so interesting. So
we live in interesting times, indeed.
I just want to follow up. Are you blaming the Motherboard for the Remnant's Fury? Is that what you're doing? I'm not saying that it is. I'm asking. Because it sounds like that's what you're saying, but it sounds like you're saying it so that you're not saying it. And I'm not very smart, so I kind of need things spelled out for me sometimes. So yeah, are you blaming the whole Remnant's Fury on the Motherboard? Are you saying that the Motherboard did that?
That's the whole thing. We do not know exactly what the Motherboard did, or the priesthood tells us a virus infected the network. Where did it come from? No one has said, or no one knows. But certainly the Motherboard did not protect us, and now the many who claim to hear her voice are doing other violences in her name, for better or worse. I say this is a remnant of an ancient civilization that fell. It fell. Ours does not have to fall in the same way by leaning on their technology.
Yeah, I heard a story my dads used to tell about technology that was, from really long before the civilization was made and disseminated throughout space. It was actually, they were up there, and I point up into the space, and then the things would come back, and they would be like, haha, you used our technology, so you developed along the lines we wanted. And then my fifth dad, Lithyen, he would make the noise that the things they would go Whom! And then they would eat everybody and turn them into a big octopus monster made out of metal. So yeah, you do have to be,
Ishvit.
I mean, I guess we have to watch out, because someday Captain Sheep Herder is going to show up, and then he's going to save us, or she. I think 4 of my dads preferred she, and 3 preferred he. So,
I'm
And
just gonna say that I never herded sheep.
I don't even know what a sheep is.
I will cut in here to say, as the GM, actual living animals are extremely, extremely rare in the Vale and considered quite precious. So it's up to you whether you have seen them or even herded sheep in your village. It's an unusual sight.
I grew up in a place where there were no sheep. I remember the story.
Taven's just gonna quip as the sheep conversation is going on. I've heard the remnants dream of electric sheep.
Well, yeah, because I mean, most animals they copy things. I've actually wanted to ask you this for a long time, Taven. Did you have a fiddle of gold?
A fiddle?
Yeah, of gold.
I don't think I've ever seen that much gold in one spot.
Yeah, I never have either. I'm not even sure what gold is. My 6th dad, Sinmi, he used to say that gold was really good conducting material, but I don't know why that's important.
You can find bits and pieces.
Yes, we're getting off track though, because we should be talking about.
Yeah,
We should be talking about whether
Lithyen
or
is
not we
going
want
to turn to Kith and say, I don't think we'll be making any decisions until we find out why we're here.
I would ask you to make none, but consider it. Consider the harm that has happened.
I think Taven's going to look at Kith and say, "Friend, we will consider your request with all of the gravity that it deserves." I can speak for myself where I'll say that I am familiar with plenty of people carrying out acts in the name of a voice they think that they hear.
Hmm.
Although I have sworn my life to helping people, I cannot force people to make choices. I can't force choices on people against their will. At least I do my best not to. And there's a hint of remorse as he looks at Lithyen very quickly before stealing his eyes on Kith.
I do appreciate your concern, your consideration. And you especially, he's looking at Lithyen, should tread carefully here.
She just gives him a look like, was that a threat? What is he even saying? But she stays silent.
We understand someone may be looking for you. I
Who?
do not threaten.
Besides you.
I bear you no ill will. I offer you this as a courtesy.
Who would even be looking for me?
I don't know. You're cool. Don't get yourself down. Lots of people could be looking for you. You're really neat.
But everyone I know is a pile of bones back in Redcanyon.
I mean, you know me. I'm not a pile of bones back in Redcanyon.
This is true. I'm sorry.
You are a pile of bones inside a meat suit.
No, Mike. That's a misnomer. I am a bag of meat with bones hanging inside it.
Look, just tell me who's looking for me. Are they from Redcanyon?
I do not have a name, only that my group was approached to return someone of your description to someone who offered us a great deal of money, but we do not condone such actions, nor do we take part in them. We are here to safeguard the people of the Vale against the threat of technology.
Oh, that can't be good. Thank you for your warning.
Okay.
He gives a half bow.
Taven will return in kind, and then as they turn to walk away, he'll put a very slight hand on Lithyen's shoulders and give her a knowing look that we'll be on the we'll keep an eye out.
Wait. Hold on. Lithyen, are these the people that had you before when I ran into you the first time?
I don't know anyone else.
Oh, new plan. Can we wait? We can wait to meet whoever sent the letter. Let's go find them and kill them.
No. Okay, no. Just no.
You don't want to kill those people? They were jerks.
I mean, you killed most of them for me, so...
Yeah, and if there's more of...
No, I'm good. I swear. It's okay.
Ooh,
we can do what we came here to do.
Can I tell Ishvit, one of my Orderborn dedicated features
Sure.
to try? Okay, so Orderborn there are 3 sayings that you can say, or that you can give your character, of lessons that or values your upbringing instilled in you. Normally this is used as a role, but this is just going to be for RP purposes. One of these sayings I will say to Ishvit now, and that is, do not be too eager to deal out death and judgment.
Okay, so if I'm not super excited about it, it's okay?
That's an interesting way of looking at it. I'll accept that.
All right. Let's go find them and explain to them that they should stop looking for you.
Are you going to explain with your fists?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, what else would I explain with it?
You're not much of a talker.
No, I mean, I'm a lot of a talker all the time, but I don't actually have anything interesting to say. I guess we should go find this
alternative plan.
Person.
Yeah, let's just go meet with whoever was supposed to invite us here, and then if we happen to find the people who want Lithyen, then we can persuade them to leave forever.
All right. I'm down for this for now.
Forever is good.
Yep.
But...
I mean, I just get worried because you guys are all so small.
That is true. You tower above the people in this crowd. You would have the best view around, actually. Even Kith, who is a very large Qatari, he could be very intimidating. He was looking up at you, pretty far up.
Yeah. I didn't, when my dads, I didn't worry that they were so small. Because they were small. I mean, woof. And I thought, oh, that's just how dads are. And then I realized I should have, when the remnant fury happened, and it was just me. It was just me and Tiz, and we were trying to get back. And I mean, he couldn't fight worth anything. He just was so small, and he just kept trying to hit things with that glowing hammer stick he had. And I'm like, it's so sad watching you try to fight. So yeah, I just worry. So if we can go punch these guys and then they'll go away, that's great. And if they have to get punched so many times that they don't move anymore, that's sad. And I'm sorry, Tab. I won't get excited about it anymore. I'll try.
The problem about very small people is that they know that they're small, and so they sometimes bring their friends. Like a lot of friends. I'm more worried about their friends. So I'm going to stay away from them, if that's okay with you.
I mean, it's your life.
As you continue,
let's go. Come on.
As you continue through the crowds,
sorry that you have a hyperactive 16-year-old. I didn't really realize what I was doing when I made this character decision.
The absolute weirdest
my
West Wing
character's
walk
a
and
literal
talk.
mom, so.
Yes, we're just imagine this as a single uninterrupted camera pan following everyone. Ishvit, as you continue through the crowds, you notice with your higher view that there's a crowd of pilgrims around one person in particular, talking excitedly as you walk through. You're getting kind of up with him in the crowd.
Psst, purple. I don't know why I said that. There's a person over there.
As you all get close enough to hear, with that keen warning, you do hear him. He's a human up on stage. He's wearing very brightly colored clothing that clashes with itself. This is the investment opportunity of a lifetime. You can buy into this and guaranteed returns tenfold. All you need to do is purchase this, and he holds up a square piece of paper, and he carries on in that vein. He is looking through the crowd, looking for people who are attentive to this message. He does have quite a crowd gathered around him, and he glances over at you. Ishvit does stand out. Do you wish to buy some of my paper currency? It is an invention of the old world. Magnificent and precious.
Dear word, no.
See, that's not very forward thinking. This is going to be...
No, you don't understand. Have we talked about the blockchain yet?
I have heard of this blockchain technology. I do not
you reach
think
out with your hand, and I do a hand gesture, and you block the chain. Now go away from me, and I keep walking.
All right, he keeps going on in his patter.
My dad's always said if somebody's trying to sell you something, they're gonna tell you lies because they just want your money. And then I'd be like, "What is money, Dad?" And they'd be like, "Don't worry about it. It's something bad that went away." So, yeah, I don't know what that guy wants, but it's probably
You
not
might
good.
have to teach Lithyen that lesson because I don't know that she's savvy enough.
Well, there is money in this world of a sort, and it's called quantum, and it's carried on like a card, a disc you have that will tell others what amount of quantum you are, and if you wish to make a transaction, other than just bartering with scrap or other things, you would spend quantum and swipe your card to add or deduct an amount from it. So that's the usual manage of trade throughout the Vale. As you continue into the city of Motherboard, this is one of the most intact cities throughout the Vale. It has many buildings from the ancient times, and those that were damaged have been repaired with great care, with scavenged materials attached to the rest with lines of copper, gold to attach them that form patterns of code along the walls as you walk through. There's less bustle once you pass into the walls of the city. The Seraphs do clock you coming in, and they watch you, but they do not stop you. As long as you were not expressing any sentiment of violence that they can see, and you carry inwards.
What's the inside look like?
It's a large open plot. Like it's open. You aren't. Of course, no one's allowed to go in the motherboard. It's a collection of buildings that surround the motherboard. It's very open. There's actually a lot of greenery here. There are gardens, are vines coming down, covering most of the rooftops, and it's a very pleasant place as far as places go in the Echo Vale. But you do have to have kind of an enthusiasm for the motherboard to reside here, and it is mostly. As you get closer, it is more inhabited specifically by the priesthood. The streets get quieter. To see the prophetess, that you need to go almost to the motherboard herself. The roads get quieter the further you approach because Tavern, you would know that those pilgrims allowed in her presence, no one is allowed to speak in the presence of the motherboard to better listen to her message. As you get closer in, a pair of seraphs does approach you, coming in on either side of you as you walk. The prophetess expects you.
Yeah, it seems like everybody expects us today.
Tavern gives the same greeting he gave Kith, and then in a barely above a whisper, just lead on.
So they nod. They are quiet, and they aren't like hurting you or anything, but they're alongside of you. And because they are there in a known presence, anyone in your way gets out of the way. They do lead you right up to the base of the motherboard, where a broad plaza around the base of this giant tower that soars upward. It's very empty, but there are pilgrims lined up, not close enough to touch, but kneeling, praying, staring at her, and the whole area is filled with a soft humming noise. The sort of hum you would hear from maybe a transistor, perhaps something that power is flowing through. It is not loud, which is why silence is enforced, but you just feel a presence. And I would like everyone here to make a roll for me. Just roll your hope and fear dice and tell me which one is higher.
So that's the 2d12, right?
2d12.
I rolled a 5 and a 5.
Well, that is actually a crit. I had not considered what might happen on a crit in this situation.
Aha.
Let me think on that. What did everyone else roll?
I got 2 1s.
My
That's
fear
2
is higher.
crit!
Isn't that also a crit? Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yes!
I just remember from the last time we played Daggerheart, and I was
Yep.
so upset because I got 2 1s.
Yep, you went on a
So-
roller
Ah,
coaster
okay.
of emotions.
Taven got 6-4 with the 6-4. The 6 die was my fear die.
Okay, and
I got
I'm
one
sorry,
hope,
I'm...
6 fear.
Okay, so you 2 are fear, and then we have 2 crits. So the 2 of you who rolled with fear, you hear this hum, and as you listen, and you, Taven, would know that this is a consistent noise. It always has been. That's the whole thing, and why sometimes the people who claim to have heard her seem a little off, because she makes a hum, and it's always the same hum. But as you are listening, you hear the hum raise up a little bit, and then it repeats. It gets louder and louder and louder, and comes to kind of a crescendo and holds it there for a moment. The guards next to you stop and look silent, and then it comes back down to that normal level. They pause for a
Ears are
moment and
just
continue.
all the way down.
So the 2 of you who rolled with fear, you are consumed with the feeling that this is not good. This is extremely worrying. And the 2 of you who rolled crits, I'm going to say, you hear this, and it's like perhaps the motherboard is here, is presence. Perhaps she does have a message. Perhaps it just gives you a feeling of presence, like there is something here that perhaps you could work with. And I will say, since you rolled a crit, each of you can give yourselves 2 hope. I was going to say 1 hope, but what else am I supposed to do? Crit. Good job, guys.
Thanks, new
I would say-
D12s.
As the crescendo or the humming raised and crescendoed, for Taven specifically, whenever he uses any seraphic ability, inert, overt, or otherwise, parts of his hand, like the metal parts of his body, will sort of shimmer with a blue light, kind of like a blue screen of death. But when this happens, the blue color reacts to the humming frequency, and when it crescendos, it gets its brightest, and then when it goes back to normal, it stops. But everyone can see that he's visibly unnerved. He's breathing a little harder than normal, and he's got a slight beads of sweat starting to form on his forehead.
So the 2 seraphs escorting you carry you into one of the larger buildings alongside the motherboard. Very elaborate, covered in large patterns of gold and copper. In you go up to, you climb a broad set of stairs up to an upper level, where a woman in green robes adorned with gold is in conference with a number of other members of the priesthood and seraphs. When she hears others approach, she looks up and sees you and says, "I must speak with them. All of you, leave." And they do. They gather up whatever they were working on, and all of them are looking at you as a group, because this is unusual. You are not all members of the priesthood. You are not all sworn to this place. But they file out quiet and obedient. Tavern, I think you would know that this is, well, everyone knows the prophet, who is named, I wrote this down somewhere, Prophet Atherin. And she used to be the head of the seraphs in this order, of the priesthood of the Motherboard, who were sworn to defend her before being elevated to being the prophet. Thank you for answering. Yeah,
Go ahead.
Thank you for answering my summons. I do appreciate your prompt attention.
In a show of formality and respect, Taven gives a lower bow than he gave to the other seraphs and the people that they've met so far, and says, "I'm Taven of the Nameless Circuit, and I have answered. Please tell me, why are we here? What is happening?" And he
That
seems almost
is.
desperate to find an answer.
Before you guys get too involved in what you're doing, she's human. What is she?
She is a human. She's kind of
Okay.
stockily built. She's older, but she has she's old, but she's not like a haggard, elderly person, if that makes sense. She stands tall and strong. Her hair is silver through and through.
And I assume that this place has got like a lot of interesting stuff all along the walls and everything.
Yes, it's kind of a large conference area.
Okay. I will be giraffing and looking at all the stuff like, wow, oh my, wow. And I don't say anything for a while unless someone talks to me. I'm just like very obviously gawking at all the weird stuff to look at.
All of the walls are adorned in patterns of code, and there are, I would say it's a formal. It's not a place of worship, but everything is decorated all over the walls. Anyone else doing anything before?
I'm still pretty freaked out, so I'm just sitting here with my ears low and keeping an eye out.
Yes, she does gesture to the chairs in front of the table if anyone wants to sit, and she sits herself. We do not exactly know what has happened to the motherboard, but I do hope you will be able to help us, because there are certain limitations to my position. Some things that I cannot do directly. And I believe perhaps you have an interesting relationship with her. She's specifically looking and speaking to Tavern at this point, though she does glance around at the rest of the group.
He, still a little rattled from the earlier humming encounter, tries to keep up in his professionalism in this instance, and just says, "Be that as it may, I still serve the Vale."
Of course. I would ask no less of you. And the motherboard protects the Vale as she can. I will tell you something that very few people know, which is that when the Remnant's fury struck, for a time she was completely silent. There are rumors, but she made no sound. Not a whisper, not the faintest hum. And we were worried she would not make a sound again, but some days later she came back and returned to us. But now in the past several weeks she has been doing this, she gestures, in the direction of the motherboard. And we have had a great flow of pilgrims since this news has started going around. And all of them feel the motherboard is speaking to them, giving them some direct message in these patterns of sound. It is a problem in and of itself, but I am worried more about the motherboard herself and what might be ailing her. She makes eye contact with everyone except Ishvit. She looks in your direction, Ishvit, but if you're occupied, she won't do anything
I'm not
with it.
completely ignoring her. I'm just
wow. She's probably used to this. As far as cities in the Vale, this is an impressive place. It's designed to be impressive and generate a sense of awe in the power of her glory.
In a shaky voice, Taven's going to ask the pilgrims, "What are they saying? What do they say her message is?"
They have different interpretations of what this means. Some believe it is a message to go out and serve the Vale, much as you have decided to do and pledged yourself to do, but they go out with much enthusiasm but little training. I fear that it has not been to the benefit of many of them. Some believe it is a call to action against those who would protest the motherboard. Some have been called to violence against the anti-technologists. There has been bloodshed, and neither of these are things I want. I would hope to bring the motherboard back to where she was, to find what ails her and silence it.
Lithyen kind of half under her breath goes, sounds to me like they're all just hearing what they want to hear.
She sighs and looks at you. That is very often how it works Some people may indeed hear her voice, hear a message, be inspired to some great work. But many want so desperately to hear something that they will hear anything their heart desires. And her cries have garnered much attention. More people than ever think they hear her voice and are confident in saying so. The movement in all directions.
All it sounded like
the-
to me was the sound that the windmills used to make when they needed oil.
I do suspect there is some technical problem that we are not aware of. Perhaps a power issue or interruption. Now, she is herself a technomancer of some knowledge. All of the Seraphs have some training with technology. So, and the world is not ignorant of these things, even if they don't know exactly how the motherboard works. But, of course, no one is allowed to go inside and check or see what may be the issue, what may be happening. I can only sit outside and speculate and worry. I have sent what seraphs I can to try and quell violence, and particularly to protect pilgrims who have gone off with their enthusiastic desires.
Yeah, that's bad. Enthusiasm's bad. You have to be very calm about it.
Enthusiasm can be a great thing, but you must be prepared when you go out into the wastes. You cannot just run out and hope for the best. The motherboard may offer protection, but you must protect yourself first.
Taven takes a deep breath and asks, where should we start?
I cannot ask this of anyone of my order. Anyone of the priests here. They would decry it as heretical, no matter that it needs to be done. But I need someone who is willing to enter the motherboard and see what might be done to repair her and bring her back to order.
You hear a squeaking noise
I'm guessing
from above you.
more complicated than a window.
And
What?
when you guys all turn, Ishvit looks like she's about to just squee out of her skin. Like, go, but calm. Gotta be calm. I'll go.
Well, that is that I have said that enthusiasm can be very worthy.
Yeah, I think you can get excited
Right.
about this, Ishvit. It's fine.
I lift your butt up into the air, your whole butt, and just start squeezing you. We're going inside the thing.
They're not,
Oh, wow.
not too loud. We don't want them to know, I guess.
She is. Don't worry. This room is shielded from listeners because there is nowhere rumors and gossip travel more quickly than amongst an isolated priesthood. And of course, with the network, that those rumors may travel far and fast. I cannot simply open the gates for you to go inside, but I can suggest 2 possible routes that may serve you. Now, of course, none of us know what is actually inside. There may be remnants, there may be security measures, there may be nothing at all. I hope that is not so, but it may be true. So you must be ready and be prepared to see anything and do what you may to help. One possible way would be to go up, to climb the spire. It is possible there are maintenance hatches towards the top where all of the cables of the network converge into the motherboard. We do have members of the Tower Watch who are stationed there to maintain the cabling and ensure the network is physically intact. They do not say so directly, but there may indeed be an entrance up there in the clouds. There are balconies from which they work. You could also try going down in the valley on the side of the motherboard. There are canyons, and under the canyons there is a river flows. And I believe, though no one is certain, that this may be part of the motherboard's cooling system, that it may be some form of water cooling. This much energy There is no source of energy like this in the entire Vale. She provides power everywhere, and that sort of thing generates heat, which we do not feel this area being hotter, so she must be cooled in some way. But again, that is speculation. I do not know if there is an entrance there, but if that is the case, there must be.
Well, I'm thinking I can get me in going up without anyone seeing me, but I'm not so sure I can get the rest of you in. So maybe down is the better idea?
There are handholds up along it, but it is quite a way. She does not have specifics on how high up. The tower guard who safeguards the network is not a direct part of the priesthood and does not specifically answer to her. So she knows some things, but she doesn't know specifics, and she certainly hasn't been allowed to climb up there herself.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to climb it. I just
there will be.
It's useful.
Yes, I'm afraid I can give you very little specific information about either direction.
Well,
I guess the better question is, are we even doing this? She looks at everyone else.
You get the saddest puppy dog eyes you've ever gotten. Oh, you don't want to go in?
Oh, yeah, Ishvit definitely. I mean, I'm cool with whatever you guys decide. I don't really understand this whole religion thing, so...
My dad's explained it. It's a hidebound mentality that's used to control people.
Okay, I only understood about half of those words.
Yeah, I don't get any of it. But they said it a lot. They were very mad. They were forced to leave. Yeah. They're like, they're not willing to accept our truth, and we speak primal code, and we must go inside. Yeah, they'd be so happy.
I think you're right. They would be. Tavern?
Taven just sighs.
The prophetess is just watching you, and you get the feeling that she's trying very hard not to smile.
Taven just sighs and tells Ishvit very quickly that, yeah, some not all beliefs are good beliefs, my friend. We've talked about this.
Yeah, you talked a lot. I didn't really understand most of it, but you're pretty, so I smile. Like now, but now I'm smiling because I've got him, and I'm like still kind of holding you like a teddy bear, and also because we're gonna go get to see if there's anything in there, which would be so cool, and it'd be even cooler if it was like a pony. I don't really know for sure what a pony is, but I think it's got a big spike on its head, and it gores people because that's what Gravar said. But anyway, whatever it is, it's going to be cool. And it's going to tell us, because we came in, I heard it, and it was like, it was trying to tell me something. And I was like, wow, it's trying to tell me something. I really can hear this.
Ishvit, we know you want to go.
No. This isn't that. This isn't that. I really think there is something in there.
Mm-hmm.
Taven says to the rest of them, I have questions that I may finally be able to answer. I'm willing to go.
I think the down one's the way to go, though, because if we go up, and those tower watch people are up there, I mean, what if they tell us to go back down? Are we gonna punch them, or are we gonna go back down? Which would mean climbing up was a waste of time.
They do work in shifts, and there may be some that might be sympathetic to this cause, but I do not know that for sure. They are a mechanically minded bunch, not always a religiously minded bunch. But I cannot say for certain. These are the sorts of questions that a prophet cannot go around simply asking.
I think I like the sound of the lower route as well. Less chance of having to hope we run into the right person or don't run into a tower guard coming down the tower off their shift.
Agreed. So we head to the valley?
The valley, it sounds like, is our plan. Can you put me down, please?
Oh, right. I'm sorry. Here.
Thank you. Ow, my ribs.
You're really light.
Most people are light compared to you.
Yeah, but Taven's got metal stuff, so he's actually kind of heavy. Not too heavy. I can pick you up if you want. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to leave you out.
Taven playfully dodges a little bit out of just arm's reach, and that won't be necessary. He turns and he looks at the prophet and tells her that it sounds like we're in agreement. We will depart at once.
Thank you. I appreciate your aid. If there is any equipment I can offer, some things I can bring together without attracting too much attention. If you would like potions or supplies that I might share with you.
I take another stamina thing.
Yeah, potions could be great, especially if we don't know what we'll run into in there.
Yeah, I'll take a potion.
So she gets up and walks to the other side of the room. There is a fancy, ornate, gilded chest, and she rummages inside it, and she pulls out 4 potions. 2 stamina potions and 2 health potions.
I want to grab a stamina because I have a health potion on me.
Okay.
Yes,
I'll take one of the health potions then.
Yeah,
Okay.
Stamina for me.
And that-
Versify.
Okay. Well then, if you wish to set out on this venture, I wish you well, and the Motherboard's hope be with you.
Taven bows, hand over heart, and with you.
And she gives not a bow, but kind of like a deep head bow, which is, from her, that's a lot. So is there anything else people would like to do before departing? Anything people want to look for or etc.?
I think Ishvit is so vibrating with tension. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm just making sure my cloak is up and kind of hide the horns and the ears, and I don't want certain people to find me if they're still.
No, Taven's ready to go. I think he's duty bound and singularly focused.
Okay, then.
Meanwhile, I am singularly unfocused.
The lot of you head out into the city, out of the city, through the crowds of pilgrims, and back into the wastes, heading in the direction that the prophetess indicated. And I believe that is where we will end this part of the story.
Blizzard Watch is made possible due to the generous contributions at patreon.com/blizzardwatch. Your continued support means that this podcast site and community is able to thrive and grow. Blizzard Watch supporters enjoy exclusive benefits like early access to the podcast, a better chance at having your question answered on our podcast with a queue, and an ads-free site experience. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next time.